Happy Tuesday, everyone. Just another Tuesday. No big news going on whatsoever at all. Will, how you doing, my man?
Hey, David. Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. There's actually quite a lot of on-chain volume going on to go alongside with the ETH ETFs that got approved yesterday night, yesterday afternoon, and I've started trading this morning. Coming in about expected as with all the volume, 25% of the Bitcoin ETFs. That's what my eyes have been glued to the screen of this morning. I don't know if you have been paying attention to this as much as I have.
Yeah, definitely keeping an eye on it. I mean, getting Bitcoin and ETH ETFs felt like some far off dream that would maybe happen sometime in the future a few years ago, but it's here and now. And it's a really big deal. I think it's opening up the floodgates for institutional capital to come in and participate in crypto.
Yeah, really. I've been thinking quite a lot about this. Everyone knows that the ETFs are just a great way to legitimize the industry. And as more and more of that kind of conduit gets built, it's not just about having on-chain actors like Bitwise bringing the narrative into Wall Street, but you've got BlackRock just explaining everything in ways that we never could. And slowly but surely we get some more maturity in just everything that I think crypto does, which in my opinion could definitely be used. And Will, you say that this has been something that we couldn't even dream of a long time ago. You're one of the OGs that I remember learning about when I first got into crypto in 2017, 2018. When was I reading the 0x white paper? When was that? When was that thing released?
Oh man. So we posted the 0x white paper to the R Ethereum subreddit in February of 2017.
That was one of the first white papers that I was reading as I was getting into crypto, that I, for the first time, realized that I could actually understand some of the words. And I was actually pretty happy with myself for my level of comprehension for all of these weird esoteric crypto terms that I had never heard of before. And this was my first introduction to 0x. And so Matcha came later, but Matcha is of course built on top of 0x. Maybe you can talk about just why did Ethereum need 0x? What did you see was needed by the Ethereum ecosystem that ultimately became the 0x project?
Yeah, definitely. So when my co-founder Amir and I first started working together, we were in San Francisco in the kind of Ethereum developer ecosystem, and we were meeting with a bunch of different projects that were building cool stuff, like MakerDAO building a decentralized stablecoin, Augur and Gnosis creating decentralized prediction markets, Melonport creating tokenized fund management, and the list goes on and on. And we had been building a decentralized exchange. We kind of our core thesis was that all forms of value would be tokenized on public blockchains like Ethereum. So like billions of tokenized assets, stocks, bonds, startup equity, video game items, airline miles, anything you could really assign value to. And so we were developing a decentralized exchange. There really wasn't a decentralized exchange when Amir and I started working together. Ether Delta emerged around the same time that we started building. And as we spent more and more time in the Ethereum developer community in SF, it became clear that almost all of these different projects required exchange functionality in order to work. And it wasn't necessarily like the core focus for them, but it was a necessary building block. And we had developed what we thought was a very well thought out decentralized exchange model. And we felt that we could have a much higher impact if we created a protocol that any project could plug into, and that would standardize markets, eliminate kind of liquidity fragmentation, reduce kind of the risks of using different smart contracts with different security assumptions and so forth. So we developed 0x Protocol to be the decentralized exchange infrastructure layer for all tokenized value. And I mean, there was an entire, I think that when Uniswap emerged in 2018 or 19, I think they really democratized access to tokenization and especially spinning up markets without having to rely on professional market makers or centralized exchanges or anything like that. But yeah, there was an entire generation of 0x based exchange products out there in the years prior, and yeah, that was really the vision that we were going after.
And of course, Matcha is just the app of 0x. Like 0x is a back-end kind of service provider to Matcha. But I think when people are thinking like on-chain DEXs, and they might think like Uniswap and AMMs, I mean, can you differentiate between the 0x model and the AMM model? Like how is the 0x model like fundamentally different, and what use case is it like more attuned for than an AMM?
Yeah. So yeah, over the years, the ecosystem has evolved, and so has our product offering. And so, as you mentioned, there's a variety of different decentralized exchange models out there. There's on-chain AMMs and liquidity pools like Curve and Balancer and Uniswap, and there's also other off-chain types of exchanges, including off-chain order books, request for quote systems, and so forth. And 0x, over time, as it became clear that there were a variety of different DEX models, and none of them were going to be the best model for every single market and every single kind of market conditions, it became clear that all of these DEX models kind of augment each other and provide better pricing if you aggregate them and weave them together to provide the best average price. DEX aggregation. And so in 2020, 0x launched our first swap API that provided DEX aggregation on Ethereum. Today, 0x aggregates hundreds of liquidity sources across 7 different blockchains right now. And it weaves together public on-chain liquidity as well as professional market maker liquidity using the 0x RFQ system, request for quote system, which basically means like a bunch of market makers are competing to provide you a better price than you would otherwise be able to get if you were just trading with on-chain sources. And so, what's exciting is just this week, we launched a brand new routing engine. We've been working on this for around 9 months of deep technical R&D. We're finally coming out, after all of that time, and exposing it, to the world for people to access within Matcha. And this new routing engine is incredibly powerful. It is a technical achievement. Super proud of the team. And what makes it special is that it is extremely competitive in terms of pricing for small trades all the way up to the largest trades that you might see going on chain. So multi-million-dollar trades, this new routing engine is able to tap into off-chain and on-chain liquidity and utilize it very effectively in order to provide the best possible price. We essentially rebuilt our entire tech stack from the ground up. And you can see it now in Matcha. It's live. We launched it on Monday. And you're going to get the very best pricing in the DEX space consistently. And so, it's a very exciting milestone for us. And we're really excited to put it out there for the world to see.
Well, congratulations. I'm a pretty frequent Matcha user. I made my first, my most recent Matcha trade this morning, right before the ETH ETFs opened up, because I wanted to make sure I could get some last Ether in my wallets before Wall Street starts buying it. And so I've been usually when I ever get in and out of a low liquidity altcoin, meme coin, shitcoin position, I always go to Matcha just because I know it just does a ton of work for me on the back end to look around at all the best prices. And while you were saying, like, there's many different DEX models out there. There's the request for quotes model of 0x. There's the AMM model of Uniswap and all these other things. really at the aggregation level, that's where all the competition is really going to happen. And Matcha is, to my understanding, the way that this works, how I explain this to people, is that there are many different like offers being made to you inside of the DEX space on Ethereum at any given moment, because there's so many different DEX designs out there. But the aggregator Matcha is the one that is really trying to make all of that fierce competition emerge into a quote. Can you talk about some of the before and after of V1 versus V2? You said you've like rebuilt the entire tech stack. What are the things that have really been optimized? As just a user, I'm assuming I'm just going to be presented with a stronger number, a better number for some of the tokens that I'm trading. But really unpack what's going on behind the scenes. What were some of the things that you wanted to like really improve upon on this version?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first version of our routing engine, we developed it back in 2020, and we had been building on it, iterating on it for around 3.5 years. And as the DEX space has continued to fragment and there are more and more different competing DEX solutions out there, the ability to provide price improvement or to improve pricing through more and more complex routing has become possible. And with our V1 routing engine, there were some fundamental limitations on how complex the routing, how the complexity of the routing it could achieve. And in particular, there were limits on how effectively it could weave together professional market maker RFQ liquidity with on-chain DEX liquidity. And with this new routing engine, new settlement smart contracts using Permit 2, it's been, essentially, we've eliminated all of these technical constraints that were preventing our V1 router from providing, the very best pricing for large trades. And, this is an area that's important. Like we want to be able to serve the whales out there, the institutions that are moving size. And with our new router, it is top tier. It is going to provide you the very best price available out of any of the different solutions out there consistently. It required us to be able to do what's called multiplexing and multi-hopping. So our routing engine will multiplex, which means it'll take your trade, your order, and it will chop it up into little pieces, and it will split it up, sending it to a bunch of different liquidity sources. Multi-hopping is when you essentially route through an intermediate token or an intermediate liquidity pool in order to trade from A to B. And being able to do both of these, and with deep levels of multi-hopping and multiplexing, it's a very challenging technical problem. It's also a really stimulating problem with some really brilliant folks on the team that were working on this, banging their head against the wall for the last 9 months or so. And what we have now is some of the best. I really think it's like the cutting edge of DEX routing today. And what's really powerful is if you go to Matcha, you can go and visualize the route that it has found for you. So at the bottom of the trade module, there's like a little best route icon. You can click on it and it'll open up a Sankey diagram that it shows you exactly how it's breaking up your order, splitting it and sending it off to different liquidity pools or RFQ market makers, and hopping all the way into the kind of output token that you were seeking. And it really demonstrates more than words can how sophisticated and impressive this routing engine is. Definitely would encourage folks that whether you're trading small size, whether you're doing meme tokens or blue chips, or if you're a whale, you're going to get top tier pricing with Matcha. And I would definitely encourage you to go check it out, see how powerful this new routing engine is. It's pretty incredible.
So I'm going to see if I can summarize some of what you've been saying. Between multiplex and multi-hop, multi-hop being that you can hop between different tokens, multiplex, you hop between different liquidity sources. When you combine these two variables, I'm guessing you get some sort of just like crazy entropy of possibilities, and that's probably like the engineering problem that you're alluding to. Is my intuition correct here?
Yeah, that's right. And it's a very challenging optimization problem where you not only have to scan, hundreds of different liquidity sources on chain and off chain in a matter of milliseconds, collecting tens of thousands of price samples. You have to feed them into this optimizer, this solver, along with the gas costs that are incurred when you tap into any, the incremental gas costs when you tap into any additional liquidity pool. And it, this optimization problem has to be solved in milliseconds as well. So the amount of complexity, the amount of work that's going on behind the scenes is immense. And it really is like a pretty amazing technical feat the team pulled off. And it definitely is the cutting edge of DEX aggregation and routing today.
Well, not only do I appreciate the fact that you guys have taken this problem head on, but the fact that you guys have also created this visualizer that explains to your guys' customer, to the users, what's going on, I think is also going to materially move the needle on something that I consider very important. And that thing is getting price discovery for our crypto assets to be discovered on chain. And right now, I think I think in the last maybe 6 months or so, DEX market share has actually increased, marginally chipped away at centralized exchange market share. And so I think we're approaching new all-time highs in total price discovery happening on chain. But we have still like such a long way to go. It's something like 80-20 or something, where 80% of total crypto volumes is happening on between like Binance and Coinbase. And if we would truly want to have like self-sovereign economies, we need actually price discovery to be discovered via on-chain mechanisms, via crypto bankless mechanisms. And so when I see like you guys taking this hard path of taking this huge engineering problem, all the many different variety of like liquidity sources and ways to like leverage those liquidity sources and tackling that problem head on, and then also showing people what's going on here, to me, I see like a huge step forward in the world of getting price discovery to happen on our turf, on cryptos, on Ethereum turf. So I just want to kind of commend you guys for tackling that hard problem. And I think as we get closer to like flipping price discovery, if we're at 80-20 now, it's going to be easier to get that last like 30% more than it is like the next 30%, because like once we can get to 50-50, then it's game over. Is this what you guys think about? This is what I hope you guys think about. Is this what you guys think about when you guys are building this thing? Is how do we get price discovery to happen on Matcha?
Yeah, well, I mean, our core thesis is that all forms of value end up tokenized on chain, and that naturally markets are going to, emerge, and so will price discovery, on blockchains. What's interesting is that while the majority of, uh, digital asset volume is still on centralized exchanges, if you look at the percentage of assets that are trading on chain before they trade on a centralized exchange, it's probably 99% to 1%. Decentralized exchanges are where new tokens emerge and where, community and liquidity formation occurs. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, this has been our bet for the last 8 years, but I'm pretty sure that, the writing's on the wall. You look at Coinbase, and they've made some really bold bets leaning into more and more economic activity happening on chain, and positioning their own business and products for a future where on chain is where everything is happening. So their crypto wallet, they've heavily invested in it over the years. It's a fantastic experience. And also worth noting, yeah, 0x also powers its swap functionality. But the amount of effort and amount of investment that they're making with their wallet, with the base ecosystem, with USDC, um, they clearly understand that the future is on chain, and they are, positioning themselves for that future. So yeah, it's definitely an exciting time. All the big players are starting to, kind of wake up to, uh, yeah, the kind of the power of permissionless protocols and on-chain markets.
Well, say for example, I am a heavy degen meme trader, and I have been this way for like maybe over a year now, and I haven't really been trading on chain, uh, because just like I'm used to having like just the super fast liquidity, the super fast performance of a centralized exchange, but I'm not aware of some of the innovations happening in the DEX space. Who are the target audience? Maybe it's me, maybe it's somebody else. Who are the people that you really want to like have the behavior changed to understand that there is deep liquidity on chain? Like, who is your target audience, and definitely what should they know about the world of just like making on chain trades? Is the world ready for them?
Yeah, good question. So for Matcha in particular, uh, our goal is to eliminate the complexity of accessing tokens and liquidity. We want to create a very frictionless experience. We want the space to have a serious option. So whether you're having fun, kind of trading meme tokens, or you're a serious trader and you're moving size, we want everyone to have a trustworthy option, a user first option. Um, the crypto space has a lot of work to do in terms of uh, legitimizing itself in the eyes of the public. And, for us, we want Matcha to be a trustworthy, secure, and reliable option where you can trade directly on chain. In terms of who we're targeting, Matcha is built for, anyone who, if you've you know, only traded in your wallet, for example, Matcha might be a good option for you. You're going to get world-class pricing. You're going to have access to every single ERC20 token that exists on chain. If anyone in the world deploys an ERC20 token on the chains that we support, it will be indexed and searchable on Matcha within minutes, and you will be able to immediately begin trading it. We already index I think it's like over 7 million tokens. So whether you're trading kind of long tail tokens or blue chips, Matcha is a place for you if you're looking for a trustworthy user first experience. We aren't, our goal isn't to go and onboard a billion people to Matcha. We think that that's a really challenging, task, and there are teams out there who are equipped to do it. For example, again, I think Coinbase has done an incredible job with Base. You can see how ambitious they are. They're focused on like global payments and remittances, gas-free payments, and yeah, I mean, they've pretty explicitly stated that they want to bring a billion people on chain. So our objective is to provide a useful and trustworthy resource where you can find the very best pricing for any token that exists. But we are not looking to, onboard you from your Charles Schwab account or something like that.
What about safety? When I connect my wallet to Matcha, I think as we enter the end of the second half of 2024, I think everyone would have hoped that operating on chain would have been safer by now than it actually has been. But it turns out being on chain is actually becoming seemingly an even more dangerous place. As there are exploits and fissures everywhere. What about when it comes to just like user safety and wallet safety as people use Matcha?
Yeah, great question. I mean, so we've been building or developing smart contracts for 8 years now, and it's incredibly high stakes. Everything that you do, every single line of code is security critical, and it's a pretty tense thing to do. One of the patterns that has emerged over the years, in particular because of the ERC20 token standard and how it works, is users setting unlimited allowances. So basically providing an application they like, providing the smart contracts that sit beneath it with unfettered access to their tokens now and into the future. And this is problematic because if there are hundreds or thousands of users that are all interacting with a smart contract application and providing infinite allowances, not only does that create like a systemic risk where if that smart contract has a bug or it's hacked or exploited, now it's impacting all of those users at once. But it's also an issue because due to the unlimited allowance that's provided, uh, any assets that those wallets may have had and exposed to the smart contract are at risk. And this is a pretty bad pattern in terms of like security hygiene for individual users. And it's something that has this has been kind of the key reason why most of the big hacks have occurred in the Ethereum ecosystem or, on EVM chains. And it's a pattern we need to get away from. And so one of the things that is really exciting about this new routing engine and tech stack that Matcha and 0x are utilizing is that the default model is for interacting with the smart contracts is through permit to. And for those that don't know, permit to it's basically a way for you to provide one-time allowances just for the amount of assets that you would like to utilize with an application, but without having to deal with the really unpleasant UX of signing one allowance transaction, waiting for it to get mined, and then kind of following through and doing your kind of interaction with the dApp transaction. That's not a great UX. So with permit to, it's really frictionless, smooth, one-time allowances on a per trade basis. And so, just generally, this is a security model that the entire space should be moving towards, and it's something that we think is an important progression in our own tech stack.
Well, Will, this has been great, and what a day to talk about this, because just as we all know, we are getting more ether into the TradFi world, which is something to take note of. But our home is here in DeFi and is here on chain and is here living out of our wallets. And so, like I said, I've been a Matcha user from the get-go, and the fact that you have been just you and the 0x and Matcha team have been just laser focused on this ever since you guys released the white paper in 2017 is pretty commendable. I don't think there's too many people out there who have been solving the same problem year after year ever since 2017. So thank you for everything that you've built inside of the Ethereum ecosystem, and congratulations on getting this engineering feat out the door and into our hands. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, really admire all the work that you and the Bankless team have been doing, educating folks and bringing more people into the space. Also long term, admirer of what you've been up to over the years. And glad that we got to chat. I think this is maybe like the first time we've actually had a conversation together. So appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's right. If people, I'm assuming everyone who is listening here has already traded on Matcha. But since these are probably the evangelists of Matcha, who can explain a thing or two or how this stuff works, where can they go to get downloaded on what you guys have released here today?
Yeah, definitely. So first, you're here on Twitter right now, so definitely go and follow the Matcha account. It's at Matcha XYZ. Go to the best way to understand how powerful this new routing engine is. Go to Matcha. It's at matcha.xyz. Open up, a token page, request a quote, and look at the Sankey diagram. Look at the powerful routing engine, and give it a try. We definitely would appreciate your, any time or attention that you provide to check it out.
Well, guys, that's going to be that. Will, thank you so much for coming on and giving us some of your time today. I really appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Happy ETTF Day, everyone.